It's enabled me really to find my own independent research niche and establish my own independent research group. The MCSA supported me to move from Switzerland, where I'd been working for a few years as a postdoctoral researcher, back to the UK and to the University of Birmingham, where I've established my own independent research group here within the Institute of Immunology and Immunotherapy. So my research focuses on our immune cells, our white blood cells, and tries to understand how their metabolism supports their protective functions. So what that means is how they take up nutrients and how they break down those nutrients to provide energy to carry out their jobs. So Birmingham is a really well-established centre of research in immunology, and also my mentor on the MCSA was an expert in metabolism, which is the area that I know less well. So it was a great place for me to come and establish my own independent research group. So my first application for an MCSA fellowship wasn't successful actually, but I was given really clear guidance from the peer review process about which aspects of the proposal they felt just needed to be strengthened a bit or needed to be clarified a little bit, so that it was quite straightforward for me to work specifically on those areas in a revised application which I submitted a year later and which then was successful. So another specific aspect of the MCSA that's particularly helpful if you have a family is that you can apply for family allowance, so some additional financial support, which really helps in terms of if you're moving between different European countries to get established, and it helps in terms of childcare costs and things, so that you've got that time to focus on your research. So what was really helpful for me was that when I decided to take maternity leave when I had my daughter, I could just stop the clock on my fellowship and then restart it later on when I was ready to come back to work. And so I wasn't losing any of that precious, independently funded time during those periods where I was taking leave to care for my young family. So I think the main challenge when you're setting up your independent research group is really deciding what it is that's going to be your research niche, and really having the time and the confidence to develop those ideas and work out exactly where you're going to fit into this research landscape. It was really helpful for me to have that period of 2, in fact almost 3 years in my case, of time where I had this funding through the MCSA that I could just take my time to talk to people here in Birmingham that the MCSA supported me to come in and work with, share my ideas, get their feedback, develop my own confidence, and then that put me in a great place towards the end of the fellowship to start applying for additional external funding.